Here it goes! RKO! In midair!
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. And once you're done, leave a comment down below and I just might end up responding. While we hear all sorts of rumors about the top stars of WWE being able to go out and afford just about whatever the fuck they want, that's pretty much just a top WWE star exclusive. While AEW is doing great work making the pro wrestling landscape easier to live off of by just, well, existing and scaring the shit out of Vince McMahon, it's still a genuine struggle to make a living off of a profession like this, and can take a lot of personal sacrifice. Daniel Bryan. It only makes sense that the most planet-loving, ecosystem-friendly WWE superstar. Number 10, AJ Lee. Starting out strong, we've got WWE's least favorite crazy chick, AJ Lee Punk. Of course, I'm only kidding. WWE is a mature company with a headstrong figure atop their branches who would never be so petty as to negate all of AJ Lee's accomplishments just because of her marriage to CM Punk. Anyways, while AJ would eventually become one of WWE's top divas and hold that butterfly strap longer than anyone before Nikki Bella, it all started from nothing. According to her book, Crazy is My Superpower, her bipolar disorder is what allowed her to move on from homelessness to athletic entertainer on television. While Swann ended up with one of the most bizarre stories from everyone who competed in the CWC, winning the top strap and eventually leaving the company due to domestic abuse, it all started for Rich back during the Cruiserweight Classic of 2016. His former struggles were well documented there. With both parents gone by age 16, he eventually found himself with no home and a cocaine addiction. His dealer actually passed away from a coke-induced heart attack, which must have woke something up in Rich Swann and helped him clean himself up. His aunt helped out too, assisting Rich in getting an apartment, a high school diploma, and eventually finding his way to CZW.
Who overcame the loss of his parents at a young age, now celebrates becoming WWE Cruiserweight Champion.
Number 8, Michael Tarver. If it wasn't for the Nexus, you would probably have no idea who the hell I'm even talking about. And honestly, even though he's shown up on these lists before, I still wouldn't blame anyone now for not knowing who this guy is. While Tarver would eventually make his way into Wade Barrett's black and yellow band of brutes, things weren't always looking so hot. In just 2008, 2 years before the Nexus debut, and I think only 1 year before the first season of NXT, Tarver was homeless while working 3 different jobs just to support his kids and his eventual future in pro wrestling. Thankfully, he made it, and his post-WWE life after just a year with the company has treated him slightly better, with that big stage recognition allowing him to find consistent work with the NWA, not those ones.
He's a 10-year veteran of the minor leagues, folks. Let's get that straight, minor leagues. And Michael Tarver may break his ribs in the early part of this match.
Number 7, Darby Allin. AEW time, boys. They're big enough at this point to just be accepted on the list, so start getting used to it. Watch AEW Inbound. Okay, here we go. Darby Allin. This strange enigma of a professional wrestler went on Chris Van Vliet's show for an interview in which he talks about being homeless just prior to signing with AEW. Just try to imagine that kind of shift in lifestyle. One day you're an indie wrestler living out of his car, the next you're a made man with the second biggest promotion in the industry doing shit like this.
And Darby Allin was staggering there.
What is he going?
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no.
Number 6, Mick Foley. Now, Mickles may have consistently looked homeless throughout his tenure, but obviously the dude was busy making millions for his accumulative work throughout WCW and the WWF. The looks seem to be no accident, however, as Foley purposefully saved up the fruits of his labor for later in life when he would actually need them. And hey, props to Mick, as most people wouldn't and don't have that kind of restraint. I sure as shit wouldn't, and neither would you. Earlier in his career, Foley was so into that lifestyle choice that he didn't even bother investing in a home. He was self-chosenly homeless, just like my man J. Cole, instead saving up by sleeping inside of his car.
Wait a minute, look at that! Holly is
Number 5, Roddy Piper. Piper might have never won that top strap, but god damn it, he was always gonna be the top bad guy when he was in the company. While he'd hit audience hatred heights never before seen, things weren't always so great for the Rowdy one. In fact, his childhood can probably be to blame for that nickname. While Piper never talked much about his childhood, he definitely did hint towards having an alcoholic, abusive, piece of shit type father, which might just explain why he decided to run away from home as a teenager, attempting to live on the streets. The youthful experiences of Roddy turned him into the brawler we knew and loved to hate inside of that squared circle.
Way out! Hot Rod gonna be humiliated by someone who wears a dress look like someone shot the curtains at Days Head! You're wrong! No retreat and no surrender!
Number 4, Chyna. Chyna was one of the saddest stories to witness. After having the run of a lifetime never before seen from a woman in the WWF, she found out she was being cheated on, basically got fired for finding out she was being cheated on, and fell pretty hard into drugs, alcohol, and even pornography. And unfortunately, it wasn't the first time, as her childhood would set up her future vices. In her youth, her father had taken out student loans in her name and left her in thousands of debt, while her mother kicked her out of the house by age 16, forcing her to find her own way, as well as putting nearly 30 years of hatred between the two women.
I forgot about that.
And Canada's now Triple H. She definitely did it. Oh yes, you see that?
Number 3, Daniel Bryan. It only makes sense that the most planet-loving, ecosystem-friendly WWE superstar of all time has got to spend a little extra time with nature throughout the years. And listen, you don't cultivate the career of the literal best professional wrestler walking the planet today without giving a little something back to the industry. And through the independent scene, he quite literally gave everything he had to this business. Once he committed to pro wrestling, that was it. He made the decision to save whatever he could and live out of his own car, oftentimes sleeping at his wrestling school, the Shawn Michaels Academy.
But the guy's a nerd. You know he's a vegan. He doesn't eat meat. How can you be a professional athlete and not eat meat?
Number 2, The Rock. Talk about a fucking career of 180s. The Rock didn't just go from the most hated babyface in WWF to the most over superstar of maybe all time, but he also went from homeless to Hollywood. During his teen years, Dwayne and his mother struggled to afford their $120 weekly rent, and after a missed payment, the world's now most famous man, pretty much, found himself on the streets. This might have been crucial to the creation of The Rock though, as he didn't only learn the drive necessary to provide for his own family, but he also dedicated all the spare time he could find towards training for a scholarship, which he thankfully eventually got, kickstarting his legendary career.
Uh-oh, double super kick! Spinebuster! Are we gonna see it? Here it comes!
And finally, number 1, John Cena. Considering the tough situations can tend to form some of the toughest fighters the world has ever seen, it only makes sense that the literal hardest man alive, John Cena, aka The Thing from Fantastic Four, started out from very little. In the same vein, it also makes sense that given how humble the superhero motherfucker is, that John Cena has very rarely brought up his rough beginnings and has instead decided to focus on helping others through their own personal issues. This doesn't negate Cena's past, however. Despite how rarely he will bring it up, John's past is somewhat riddled with issues. While John usually keeps quiet on the subject matter, he has confirmed multiple times throughout the past that his previous lifestyle was without a home. While most other common day sources might not report about it, Cena's brought his former truth to where it matters, the kids and the youth of the world, having primarily explained his past struggles to high school age students so as to either motivate them to do better in life or sympathize with them on the off chance that they can relate to the no home struggles. Good people who end up going through hell and make it out successfully tend to be far greater on the other side, so it only makes sense that John Cena ended up John Cena.
If Cena can... Oh no!
Brock Lesnar going to the F5. John Cena though from behind. Picks the leg. Cena! STM!
And those are 9 WWE wrestlers and one from All Elite who ended up being homeless at one point or another in their lives. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below after liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and notifications-ing that bell.